This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Imvani, South Africa. But before that, this video is brought to you by Mervyn Knotts and Galcomp Gamer. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Imvani, South Africa map can be found over at the FarmingSimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you some of the description. A peaceful South African map where you can be wild and free. This map features 8 farmlands, 15 fields, 4 self-owned fields in new farm mode. In order to sell fruit from the storage silos, they must be loaded onto a truck and transported to a sell point. Small to large fields and ample startup fleet. Pretty basic description. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use the mods we typically use when we take a look at maps. They are additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. Now, I'll tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find that the farm is built out exactly how you see it here in new farm mode, except you do not own any machinery. In addition, this map includes 2 viable farms, but there is a caveat that I will be explaining here in a little bit around those 2 viable player farms. Now, in all play modes, you load into the map here just off the road. And I have to say, the road, well, it is a little stark contrast between the quality FS22 textures and whatever that is. That I don't know what that is, but it looks like sponge. It doesn't look good, whatever it is. The road network, well, it leaves a little bit to be desired as far as quality of textures. You can definitely see that here too, as we progress from whatever that is to the grass next to it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA itself. Fairly basic PDA, and I would say that these fields range from medium to large. I wouldn't say small in any stretch of the imagination because, well, the smallest field looks to be, well, 2 is fairly small. I was looking at 12. The number of small fields is fairly small, so let's call this more of a medium to large size field map. We do have all the standard crops available to us in FS22 available on this map. And if we take a look at our viable lands, well, we have some rather large chunks of land. In fact, we start up by owning Farmland ID 2, which itself is 225 acres in size. That includes the main farm as well as several starting fields. We also have a farm up here at Farmland ID 1, $209,000, $3.3 million, by the way. Farm ID 5 also has a player farm, $2.7 million for 167 acres. Now, I did say at the intro that there was a caveat about these 2 other playable farms. And that is, you can't use them. Even if you own the land, the farmhouse, the animal pen, most of the triggers on both of these farmlands is unusable. And that really is a shame. And really, I would say if you want to play this map, hold off on an update because it needs an update in order to make these other playable farms actually usable by the player. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large they are in hectares, and if they include any fields, which fields are included, then how much is that farmland going to cost you. You see that we are separated up into just 8 really big chunks of farmland. We take a look at our field calculator screen now. This is going to show us the actual sizes of each particular field. Our smallest field is 0.87 hectares in size. I'll give you that. That's fairly small. But then we have fields up in a range of 12.6, 21, 8.5, 19, 36, 15. They start getting pretty big pretty darn quick. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how the precision farming soil map is being applied to these fields. As you can see, this map is using the generic soil map that is a part of the precision farming mod. Taking a look then at our crop counter, we do have the standard base game crop counter available to us on the map. And looking down through our prices screen, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops. But what we do not have the ability to do is sell all of our animal outputs. We do not have the ability to sell milk. Oddly enough, in one of the non-usable player farms, we do have a cow pen. So that is kind of interesting that would have been an oversight. We do have sheep at the starting farm, and we can get rid of our wool at the spinnery. We also have the ability to sell all of our base game products that are available to us also in FS22, with the exception of planks. Once again, we are missing the ability to sell planks, which is odd because, well, there's two productions on this map, a spinnery and, well, you guessed it, a sawmill. So the sawmill is going to make planks, but we can't sell planks. So if we do want to own the sawmill, we will have to put down our own carpentry shop because we do indeed have the ability to sell our furniture. So I would like to see the map get updated to allow the ability to sell milk and to allow the ability to sell our planks. Now, with respect to our lime, there is no bulk lime buy point, nor is there a place to sell your stones or process your stones. So if you are playing with stones enabled, you will need to put down your own stone crusher. With respect to the Platinum expansion, we do not have the ability to sell any other Platinum expansion production items. So if you do wish to use any of the Platinum expansion production items, you will need to put down your own sell point. And those using pumps and hoses, you can get rid of your separated manure. We start out with a very modest list of starting machinery. All of it is new. None of it is leased. We have 3 sheep pens that we own at the start. There are contracts available on unowned fields. We do not own any other production chains at the start, and the map does have 100 collectibles. Let's go ahead and kind of make our way down this long drive. And now remember, all of this land is owned by us at the start. And then we are now coming into our farm. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet in more detail. We start out with a Massey Ferguson 5S 105 small tractor. We then have a Massey Ferguson 6713S medium tractor with a John Deere T560 harvester. It's paired up with a 625X grain header. We've got the Rudolph TDK 301 RP trailer and the Agrimaz POV 5XL plow. That is all of our starting fleet. This map also does not have any custom vehicles or machinery. With respect to the farm itself, well, we have 3 sheep pens, base game sheep pens, all in a row here. 1, 2, and 3. We have our Holt Bellaroon farmhouse. Located over here with a sleep trigger. And then our wardrobe trigger in the garage. We're going to see giant trees like this scattered around. Sadly, these are, well, either these are extremely old, low texture trees, or they have just been scaled up so much that the textures have been just stretched out to such a degree. Because even the leaves just look, they look good from a distance. So I guess try to stay at a distance, and then you won't have to worry about it, I guess. We have all our large contractor machine shed. This is what we're going to have all of our machines stored in. We've got our pressure washer. We do have a workshop trigger building here as well. We have fuel. And then we have our base game silo. That is the main starting farm. Now, with respect to can the farms be customizable? The starting farm here can indeed. We can sell everything here on the starting farm, aside from the ginormous tree over there. We can also sell the fence. So if you wanted to completely redo this area, well, you could indeed do that. Now, let me go ahead and buy these other areas because I wanted to go over there when we owned the land and just show you that these areas are pretty much unfunctional. So you see we have a cow area here. If I click on it, nothing happens. It's definitely on owned land. If I go to my animal pens, it's not listed. It should be listed. I come back here. We have silo. Right, we have that one we can click on. This one is coded somewhat correctly because we can visit this one. It pops up. That's the only trigger here that pops up. Here's the farmhouse. No trigger pop up. Fuel. No trigger pop up. And our cow area, which actually has cows in it. No trigger pop up. So we're not going to be able to open these doors or anything. See? Nothing. The XML is just not quite right. We got to cross the street to the other farm. We have the same thing. We're not going to be able to open these doors because we don't own them. They're not coded right. We don't have a sleep trigger. And fuel. No pop-up, no icons. And the silo, just decorative at this point because we don't have any icons. It is not coded correctly for this particular farmland. So overall, the score we're going to give for can the farms be customizable? Well, we're going to give the map a 1/4 of a point because, well, the main farm can indeed be customizable. These farms, they're at the current juncture a waste of space. And I would really love to see this map get updated so that these were functional. Really is frustrating. I gotta wonder if QA is working overtime on squashing any bugs that might be in premium before release. Because in my opinion, this map or the other one that I'm going to do a map video on right after this one, neither of these maps should have been released today. Neither of them should be released because they both have what I would consider game-breaking bugs to the point that they should not be out. They're not benefiting the player community whatsoever in being openly available. I might be the only guy that's going to review maps that's going to flat out and tell you that. But that is indeed the way I think on this. They both needed to bake a little bit more. They needed a good kickback to the map author to get fixed. This one should just be a couple simple changes in the XML. Should fix it. The one we're going to look at here in a little bit, again, same general idea. So again, this farm is totally customizable. We can sell everything other than the trees. I'm a little worried you won't be able to cut down this giant tree because it does feel like it's been overscaled. So the triggers may not line up properly anymore. With respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such, we are going to be giving the map a full point there. We do have a spinnery and a sawmill pre-placed on the map. With respect to being able to sell all of our base game products, crops, and animal outputs, well, we do not have the ability to get rid of our milk, nor do we have the ability to get rid of our planks, as we said. So we're going to be giving the map 3/4 of a point there. So we have one of our sell points directly below in the farmer's market. Here we have our sawmill, standard FS 22 sawmill. 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 We have our animal dealer. Here we have a train transfer station to take product, dump into the train silo, and pull out of the train silo into the train. Rent the train because we do have a train sell point on the map. We have a bale sell point located right here. We have fuel. And then this is going to be our spinnery. So we have our pallet spawn point, we have our interactive icon, and we have our dump point for our wool and cotton. And then lastly, we have our vehicle shop. Now we're not going to do a drive around because we've just seen the entirety of the map that is to be seen, other than looking at the farmland itself. It's very interesting that our vehicle spawns way over here. As if we have an overlap between where our vehicles spawn in and the spinnery triggers. I hope this doesn't cause a problem, because typically your dealer spawn point is somewhat reserved, and that it tries to make sure that that area is clear. Then we have our maintenance trigger, our dealer trigger, located right here as well. Now, as far as the rest of the score goes, we're going to begin the map 3/4 of a point with respect to ground textures and building textures using the newer texture technique. Overall, we've got fairly standard FS22 buildings available in build mode. We do have these 2 silos that are listed as mods, but I believe that they're just listed as mods because how they're coded in the XML. Fairly standard everything else. We do have the cow barn with feeding robot listed as a mod. That is pre-placed, but oddly enough, the sheep is not coded that way. So it is not showing as a mod, even though we have sheep pre-placed on the map. As far as our ground textures, standard FS22 ground textures, standard FS22 plants and trees. So we are taking 1/4 of a point off, basically, for that ginormous exploded tree and how it looked up close. Then also the main road texture that you saw when you first spawned in. Then lastly, player interactive areas being clearly marked. We've seen all the triggers. There's not a whole lot left to the imagination with respect to those, other than the fact that those 2 player farms completely unusable, aside from that one lowly silo. So we're going to begin the map a score of 3.75 out of 5, with the caveat that I strongly would not recommend downloading this map and playing it until it has an update that will correct the 2nd and 3rd player farms to allow them to be completely usable in the game. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to the Imvani South Africa map. And until next time, happy farming.